In Nussbaum's article, she provides us with a variety of perspectives and interpretations of objectification. She defines objectification as a multiple-form concept that can be depicted in different ways. It's dehumanization, the process of reducing a human being into a thing. Unpleasantly, it has become a common term apparent in advertisements, films, and many inventions. She states that objectification is not always bad, depending on whether or not it is morally problematic. She explains the determinants is the context of each situation. She wrote 7 ways of treating a human as a thing. Based on the 7 forms put into context, she believes will determine the morality. The 7 forms are features of objectification. They consist of instrumentality, which is the treatment as a tool for one's own purpose, denial of autonomy, the treatment of the object lacking in autonomy and self-determination, inertness, the treatment of the object lacking in agency and activity, fungibility, the substitution of the object, violability, the lacking of boundary integrity, ownership, something that can be bought or sold, and denial of subjectivity, disregarding the object's emotions. The 3 most prominent features are instrumentality, denial of autonomy, and denial of subjectivity. She argues that these are commonly present in objectification. However, her stance is unclear of whether a cluster of these features must exist or each individually will portray objectification. She leans toward it being a loose term, which concludes that when any one is apparent, it is a sufficiently objectification, although in most cases several are present at a time. Each definition single-handedly can be seen as morally problematic, but once these are put into context, the views may change. Nussbaum argues that once objectification is taken into context, not all forms are bad. An example of a morally problematic objectification is slaves. They fall under instrumentalization, denial of autonomy, and ownership. They are not inert, violable, or always denied subjectivity. Fungibility leans both ways, as one either may be very specialized in their work or seen as a body being reduced only to perform specific tasks. As an example of non-morally problematic situation would be using a partner's stomach as a pillow. The fact that a person is being reduced to a pillow is instrumental objectification. However, in context, it is assumed that there is consent or a mutual understanding. With this, she states that what is problematic is not instrumentalization, necessarily, as is treating someone solely as an instrument. She argues that the overall decider of a morally problematic situation comes down to the relationship amongst the objectifier and the objectified. In my opinion, Nussbaum gives a strong argument. It is important to look at all aspects of a relationship and context of a situation before labeling it as an act of morally problematic objectification. Something I noticed she failed to mention is the effect of objectification. I think this is a significant aspect of the problem. People that fall victim to objectification likely experience large damage to their self-esteem and self-image. This can cause people to undergo unnecessary physical change such as plastic surgery or suffer from severe emotional issues.